Have you ever felt like something is missing? Like even when things should be fine, there's still a sense of emptiness? Maybe you've struggled with anxiety, sadness, or simply feeling disconnected. And no matter how much you try to fix things on the outside, the inside doesn't change. What if the problem isn't just in your mind, but also in your soul? Most people think of mental health as something only related to the brain. If you're anxious or depressed, you get therapy or medication, and that's the end of the story. But there's something missing in this approach. What if part of your mental health comes from something deeper? Something that can't be measured on a scan or treated with a pill? That something is your connection with meaning, with purpose, and with something greater than yourself. In other words, spirituality. And no, this isn't about religion, rules, or belief systems. Spirituality here means the part of you that longs for connection. The part that asks, why am I here? What's the point of all this? And is there something more? You don't have to follow any specific faith to feel this. You just have to be human. Here's the thing. When you ignore this part of yourself, your mental health suffers. When life feels empty, random, or meaningless, it's easy to fall into sadness or stress. But when you feel part of something bigger, whether it's nature, the universe, God, or simply a deeper version of yourself, your mind starts to calm. You feel more grounded. You start to heal. Think about moments when you felt truly alive. Maybe it was watching a sunrise, holding someone you love, or feeling goosebumps listening to a song. That spark? That's your spirit reminding you there's more to life than bills, deadlines, or social media likes. When you feel that connection, everything changes, even if just for a moment. Now imagine building a life where that feeling is part of your everyday. Spirituality gives you tools that modern life forgot. Tools to slow down, to breathe, to listen to yourself. Things like meditation, stillness, gratitude, and prayer aren't just feel-good habits. They literally change how your brain works. They reduce stress, improve focus, and increase your ability to handle challenges. But the biggest change happens inside. Let's say you're feeling anxious. Your mind is racing. You're thinking the worst. Now, imagine you take a deep breath, close your eyes, and reconnect with something bigger. You remind yourself that you're not alone, that life is always moving, always changing, that even this moment of fear will pass. That shift doesn't come from logic, it comes from connection. That's spirituality helping your mental health in real time. Another big part of this is meaning. A lot of mental suffering comes from feeling like life has no purpose. You wake up, work, pay bills, scroll your phone, and repeat. Over time, that wears you down. But when you feel like your life has meaning, even if it's something simple like helping someone, creating something, or just being kind, your brain and body respond. You feel more alive, more hopeful, less lost. Spirituality also helps with identity. Today we're told we are what we look like, what we earn, what we own, or what others think of us. That's a heavy burden. But spirituality says, you're more than all of that. You're not just your job, your past, or your mistakes. You're something deeper. When you start seeing yourself that way, shame loses its grip. Fear gets quieter. Confidence grows. Not because you're perfect, but because you remember who you are beneath all the noise. Even time feels different when you tap into your spiritual side. Have you ever noticed how time seems to disappear when you're doing something you love, or when you're fully present in the moment? That's not an accident. That's your mind and spirit aligning. When you're truly present, past regrets and future worries fade. You stop overthinking and start being. And in that space, healing happens naturally. Let's also talk about energy. Not in a magical sense, but in a real human way. When you're around certain people, you feel drained. Around others, you feel uplifted. That's energy. When your thoughts are heavy, your body feels it. When your emotions are stuck, everything slows down. But when you reconnect with your spiritual core through breath, prayer, journaling, nature, or silence, you feel lighter. You feel awake again. That energy shift is real, and your mental health depends on it. It's also important to say this: spirituality doesn't fix everything overnight. If you're struggling deeply with anxiety, depression, trauma, or burnout, professional help matters. Therapy, support groups, and medication can be life-saving. But spirituality doesn't replace these things. It supports them. It adds a layer that most approaches miss. It gives your healing a direction, a purpose, a why. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start asking better questions. Why do I feel this way? What do I truly need right now? What am I really searching for? Where have I stopped listening to myself? These are spiritual questions, and asking them opens doors. It invites awareness. And when you become more aware, healing begins. So how can you start today? Find silence at least once a day, even if just 5 minutes. Write down what you feel, not just what you think. Step outside, touch a tree, feel the sun, look at the sky. Connect with something greater, even if you can't name it. Speak kindly to yourself, the way you would to someone you love. Let go of the need to understand everything. Trust that clarity comes through experience, not control. Spirituality isn't about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers or never feeling sad again. It's about staying connected to life, to meaning, to the part of you that remembers you were made for more. And maybe that's the point. Maybe mental health isn't just about avoiding breakdowns. It's about finding breakthroughs, about remembering what makes you feel whole, even when life feels broken, about coming back home to yourself after being lost in the noise. So the next time your mind feels heavy, ask your spirit what it needs. And listen. You may just discover that the peace you've been chasing has been inside you this whole time, quiet, waiting, and ready to guide you forward. If this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. You never know how one message can change a life. See you in the next video.